Okay, so today's a workshop. You've got myself, you've got Rebecca. We're going to go through and talk to you about lead generation, how we've been generating a lot of leads. We're now working with 2,500 different companies to help them to implement something called scorecard marketing. Scorecard marketing is setting up an online assessment so that people feel compelled to want to fill in an online assessment, and that becomes a very, very qualified warm lead for your business. We've got some great success stories. It's a very particular, very focused way of generating leads. By the end of today's session, you will have a really good working knowledge as to why it works and how to set up a campaign, how to automate it and get it running in your business pretty quickly, and how to do it at a very low cost or even no cost. So all of that's going to be covered in the workshop today. So what I'd like to do is, and by the way, I absolutely love if you're comfortable putting on the cameras. Thanks, David. It just makes for such a more warm, friendly environment. Jake, you're in the floating basket there. That looks great. Victoria, great to see you. Thank you so much. Natalie, great to see you as well. Okay, so let's get into today's workshop. Let me start with a little bit of background as it relates to lead generation. So when I was 19 years old, I had the opportunity to work with this guy here called John. John was setting up a brand new business. This is actually not me when I was 19. This was years later when we caught up for a coffee. But John was setting up a new business, and I was employee number 3. So we didn't have a business name or a bank account. He just had a small team of us around a table. And we were getting ready to launch. And we launched a business. We had a list of 15,000 contacts on database. And this was in like 1999 or 2000. And we launched, we had a great launch event. We then signed up some customers and the business took off. And we went from 0 to about $6 million a year worth of revenue in the first couple of years. It was a really fun, exciting way to start my career because I was a teenager. And it was pretty amazing. John and I had a really good friendship and almost a mentorship where he would teach me absolutely everything he could. And one of the very first lessons that he taught me is he said, Dan, everything is downstream from lead generation. You can have an amazing product, you can have an amazing team, but if you can't generate leads, then it's game over from there. And he also said the opposite is true, that if you had a pretty average team and an average product, but you were generating a lot of leads, you would be able to fix almost any problem. So if you had 100 leads a week coming in every single week, you would be able to raise investment, you'd be able to improve, you'd be able to get a salesperson on the team, you'd be able to fix things if you had the lead generation thing solved. And we've seen some pretty high profile examples of this recently. So for example, Kylie Jenner made $1 billion selling makeup. So she was operating within a very saturated industry. There was nothing particularly special or innovative that she was doing. She was just operating within the makeup industry. She made $1 billion. And why? Because she had hundreds of millions of followers on Instagram who were very engaged. And she basically had all of those leads, those warm leads there. She pointed that at a product and she made $1 billion doing that. So when you think about it, there are plenty of university professors who know absolutely everything there is to know about business, who could tell you all the reasons why that wouldn't work. But actually, when you've got the warm leads, when you've got the warm relationships, you've got no problems there. You're away. So I learned lots of lessons from John. And at 21, I went and set up my own business. This is me at 21. And the first thing I learned to do was to run a newspaper ad. So I had a newspaper ad there, and we generated lots of leads. In fact, that business took off really, really quick. What happened was I ended up with about 70 people turning up to an event off the back of that ad. I spent about $7,000 on that ad. Newspaper ads were a big thing back then. And filled up this room full of people. We made about $30,000 worth of sales. I had put everything on my credit card, so it had to work. It did work. So what did I do? I repeated it. In fact, I repeated it 43 times that year. Made 1.3 million in sales and about 400,000 of profit when I was 21 years old, 21, 22. So we got the lead generation side of things right. What I did next was I set up a lead generation agency focused on running events. And we would pick different clients that we'd work with. and we'd do all the lead generation for them. We'd run special live events, and we'd generate lots and lots of leads. That became a $10 million company. In 2005, we did $10 million worth of revenue. So we got, by the end of 2005, we were at $1 million a month worth of business. So I then moved to the UK and set up a new business, which was Dent Accelerators. I started running events all over the world. We were running these big events, working with entrepreneurs all over the world. We started promoting those and working with those, and we ran big events, and that was a great way to generate leads. And then we did email marketing, and we really mastered that. And then I wrote a series of books, and that generated lots and lots of warm leads as well. But here's the interesting thing. All of those ways that I mentioned are what's called broadcast lead generation. So essentially, I'm broadcasting a message to the marketplace, but I know almost nothing about the people who are responding. So for example, when we're running a big event, I might have the CEO of Microsoft sitting in the audience and I just don't know, or I might have someone who's running a fish and chip shop. I have no idea who's in that audience until such time as we actually meet with them face to face. So I'm able to broadcast a message, but I'm not able to figure out who's who. So I have no way of qualifying who I'm talking to. So here's what happened. In 2015-16, I re-released the book Key Person of Influence. The book covered the 5 Ps of generating influence. And in the book, I put an assessment, a scorecard. So I basically said, before you read past this point, I want you to go to our website and fill in the online assessment. And when you fill in the assessment, we'll be able to tell you where you can improve your business and how you can improve. So people would go to the URL, they'd go to the link, they'd click the button, fill in the button there, they'd give us our name and email address, and then suddenly they would answer these questions, right? So these questions would pop up, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And then at the end, people would get a response where they would have an assessment. They'd get a PDF with their results, and they'd get a display screen with their results. And then we would send people their results plus a video recommendation as to what they should do based on how they answered the scorecard. And for the right people who answered the questions in the right way, we would invite people to have a one-to-one conversation with our team. And when we had those one-to-ones, we would have all this data about people. So when people filled in that scorecard, that assessment, we could actually see exactly how they answered every single question, and we could have a glance at a dashboard to get a pretty good idea. Now, this was a game changer, a total game changer, because in the past, when our salespeople would pick up the phone and talk to people, they had to ask the worst possible question, which is actually not even, you can't even ask this question anymore. And they would have to ask the question, tell me a bit about yourself. What do you do? Tell me who you are. Tell me something about yourself. Now, back 5, 6, 7 years ago, you could get away with asking that question because people had a little bit of spare time on their hands. They would respond and tell you a bit about themselves. But the first 5 to 15 minutes of the conversation was just finding out stuff. But today, if you say to people, tell me about yourself, they'll just simply say, look, I'm too busy to tell you about myself. I just don't have any time for that. So it kills the conversation straight away. So here's what our salespeople could do instead. They could say, hi, Chris, you took our Key Person of Influence scorecard yesterday. We noticed that your highest score was for partnerships, 87%. You've got lots of partnerships in place. Your lowest score was for pitching skills. And I'm wondering, would you like to improve that score? Now, this was a game changer because rather than asking people, tell me about yourself, we could tell them something about themselves. We could just jump straight into the deep end and start talking specifically about their needs. So this gave us a way of being automated, but also personalized. Now, this is a very rare combination. Normally, automated means one size fits all, and personalized means that it's not easy to automate. So if you think about a YouTube video, it's highly automated. It just sits on YouTube delivering the exact same thing every time, but it's not very personalized because it doesn't change depending on who's watching it. So essentially, we created an automated and personalized approach by doing this online scorecard. Now, this was pretty game-changing. We generated 90,000 leads, 15 million pounds worth of sales. We launched it in 2015 and it hardly changed. So it didn't need very much refreshing or updating. It always continued to grow year on year. It's simple and hardly anyone's doing it compared to the number of people doing podcasts and videos, blogs. Hardly anyone's doing scorecards and assessments. It takes about 1 to 2 hours to get this set up and live. So less time than a podcast, less time than a video. And then it's basically insanely cheap to run, and it just keeps running and running and running. So we generated 90,000 leads. I'm curious, in the chat, let me know how many leads would be life-changing for you, right? So if you were to generate leads, how many would you need in order for it to be a life-changing number of leads? So let's think about per month. Would you say that you need, 10 per month, 100 a month, 1,000 a month? How many warm leads would be totally life-changing? If you got warm qualified leads every month, how many do you feel you'd need? So 25, 100, 600, right? 20 per month, 100. So it looks like somewhere between 25 and 600 per month, right? So for us, that was the kind of numbers we were dealing with as well. And that was pretty life-changing. I mean, you can imagine for us, I'll tell you specifically how it changed my life. Up until 2015, I was traveling around the world nonstop. We had 8 cities set up around the world. So I had Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Singapore, London, Toronto, and Tampa. So we had all these different cities that we were up and running in, and I was traveling nonstop. In 2014, I had my first child arrive. There was just no way that I could be a dad and also flying around doing events. That would not have worked. Had I not come up with this scorecard approach, I don't know how the family life and the business life would have actually gone together, because my whole strategy was speaking on stages around the world. And this completely ended that. I didn't have to do that anymore. And we could get better results with scorecards than being a professional speaker around the world. So that was a pretty life-changing thing. I went on to have 3 kids. So luckily, maybe, I wonder if the second 2 kids, whether they owe their life to scorecards or not. But it was life-changing, to say the least. Here's what happened. What happened is in 2019, a bunch of people asked me, can we create a scorecard for them? So we worked with an agency to start creating scorecards at a cost of £8,000 to £12,000 each, because we had to create them from scratch on WordPress, and we had to do everything from scratch. And then in 2020, we launched ScoreApp, which is a platform where it's all templated. You basically select a template, and everything's already done for you, and it all just basically works. So it's super fast and super cheap, because we've now got, I think we've got something like 40 to 50 different templates. They're all written, they're all done. You just have to edit them. We've got people like Jay Shetty and a guy called Ali Abdal with about 4 million followers. We've got professional speakers, and we've got people who are trainers. We've got coaches. We've got people who have businesses building in construction. We've got medical. 2,500 businesses are now using ScoreApp. So we've found a few things. Here's what we've discovered. People absolutely love taking scorecards, and scorecards lead to sales. There's no question. This is the most qualified leads you'll ever have. You will get just this steady stream of people who essentially arrive at your door telling you what it is they want to improve and why they want to improve it, all that data, all that information. So people love filling in scorecards, and they become the best leads you've ever had. So we've learned some things along the way about why it works and what kind of campaigns work. Let me give you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a few reasons about why it works, and then we'll get into how to create one of these campaigns. Okay, so here's why it works. The first one is people buy things to resolve tension. So people don't buy airline seats, they buy destinations that they want to get to. And essentially, your customers, your clients, they have an outcome in mind. They have something that they want to achieve, and they feel a sense of tension that they're not there yet. So scorecards are great for heightening tension. So here's a question I've got for you. What is the typical outcome that your customers want to achieve? So imagine your typical prospect. What is the typical outcome that they want to have happen by working with you? Where would they like to be 6 months or 12 months after working with you? Where do you think they want to get to? So just put it into the chat. What is the typical outcome that your customers wish that they could achieve? the thing that you normally help people to get to? What is the normal outcome that you would go for? Let's give you a minute there. So a new job with a higher income. So Sam, you can create a scorecard called, are you ready to get a new job with a higher income? Answer 10 questions and find out. Wendy says greater resilience. So you could do the resilience scorecard, how to have more resilience in business, answer 10 questions, get custom recommendations results. Suzanne is how to have more success online. So the online success scorecard. Answer 15 questions and we'll give you custom recommendations about how to have more success online. Confidence, right? So confidence with selling. So the sales confidence scorecard. Are you ready to have more confidence with selling? Answer 20 questions and we will give you a custom report as to how to have more confidence with sales. Sickness, absence, absenteeism. So are you ready to reduce absenteeism at your workplace? Are you ready to improve the health of your workers? Answer 10 questions, find out what you could be doing to improve. Aligning a leadership team to a vision. Are you ready to get your team aligned to a vision? Answer these 10 questions to see how aligned your team are. So essentially you get the idea that what you do is you create a scorecard based on the result that people want. When people answer that scorecard, it highlights the tension. So basically, by answering lots of little questions, do you do this? Do you have this? Have you got this in place? Have you done this before? All of those little questions, they add up and they add up and they add up to create an underlying tension. It gives people clarity about the result that they can get, and it also gives people a reason to feel that little bit of tension there. Now, the more tension people experience, the more they want to go in and they want to buy stuff, right? So they want to resolve that tension. So what we found is that scorecards are a phenomenal tool for highlighting and creating clarity around where people are and where they want to get to. Scorecards highlight tension. Okay, the next one is that people have dormant desires and they have active desires. And dormant desires is a really interesting concept to tap into. So if you imagine that there are some people who have a dormant desire and some people who have an active desire. Let's define the two. An active desire is somebody who is actively searching for a product or service. They're actively trying to solve something. Dormant desires are people who have a frustration or a pain, but they've not yet started acting upon it. They're not doing anything about it. So for example, an active person might be looking for a new car and they're always on a new car website this week, and they're looking at prices and they're looking at different models. That's active. A dormant person might just be less than happy with their current car. They might find that their current car isn't what they want. It's getting a bit old. Maybe it broke down. Maybe it's not ideal for whatever reason, but they're not looking for a new car just yet. They're just not happy with the car that they've got. So when we think about it, the size of those markets are very different, right? So there is a tiny percentage of people who are active, and there's a massive percentage of people who are dormant. So somebody in the chat said that their business helps leadership teams align to a common vision. You would say that out of the millions of businesses in the UK, there would be millions of businesses that are not properly aligned to a vision, but there's a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of businesses that are looking for a coach or a consultant to align the team to a vision. So it's a very small number of people who go looking for something, even though a very large number of people are suffering from something. So here's how it works. The business that gives people a light bulb moment is the one to beat. So if you can turn someone from dormant to active through an insight, through a light bulb moment, then you're the company that they want to work with unless they find someone better real fast. So for example, let's say, and who was it who did the aligning leadership team? So Sharon. So let's say that Sharon delivers a 15-minute talk, or she does an amazing blog, or she's got a great little book about the value of aligning teams to a vision. If Sharon delivers that and makes me go, oh my goodness, I want to have an aligned team. I want to have my team aligned to a vision. I want to immediately work with Sharon unless I can very easily and rapidly find someone who's better, right? But it's normally unlikely. Sharon would be the person to beat if she was the one who gave me the light bulb moment. So here's a question for you. I want you to imagine, what is the light bulb moment that your prospects really need to know? So when you think about what would turn someone from dormant to active, what's one light bulb moment? What's one insight that helps them to switch on and go, oh my goodness, that's really, like, that's powerful. So for example, with our key person of influence scorecard, we said things like, a key person of influence is someone who is known, liked, and trusted in their industry. They attract opportunities. Rather than having to chase opportunities, they get to curate opportunities. These are people who have built a personal brand. And we shared a light bulb moment that the most successful companies are led by someone who has a personal brand rather than just purely and simply a faceless company brand. So that light bulb moment where we showed lots of examples and data, and we said, isn't it interesting that, like, Elon Musk is worth more than the whole car industry combined, and Steve Jobs was able to beat IBM. So personal brands are more powerful than company brands. So we were able to give that light bulb moment to our clients, and that light bulb moment was something that that allowed them to go from dormant to active. So have a think about what light bulb moment might look, what a light bulb moment might look like for your customers. What information could you share with them? What fact? What piece of data? Sometimes a great light bulb moment is a piece of data. 74% of people suffer with this, or 62% of people can fix this problem in under 3 months if they just do these 3 things, right? If you've got a little piece of data that is like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't realize that this thing was solvable, or I didn't realize that so many people had this, or I didn't realize that this thing gets worse if it's left unchecked. So these are the types of light bulb moments that normally spring people to action. You need a couple of light bulb moments in your bag in order to get people to go from dormant to active. Now, the good news is that typically, oh, here we go. 60% of senior level jobs are never advertised. Wow, that's a really cool one. Here's how to navigate the jobs market. So did you know that 60% of jobs are not actually advertised, high level jobs? So that's a really good light bulb moment, that there are certain things that there are implications to that. I love it. So the good thing about scorecards is that scorecards awaken dormant desires. So normally it is the light bulb moment where the dormant desire gets woken up because people take the scorecard. Okay, the next thing we've learned. The greatest brands are able to manufacture demand. So here's an interesting insight. In the industrial age, at the peak of the Industrial Revolution, the most successful companies were able to manufacture supply. So they were able to figure out how to make cars, or make scissors, or make shirts, or make tailored suits, or make leather shoes. They could figure out how to supply something. In fact, the supply side was very hard. And we even created a word called gross domestic produce to measure the economy, which basically said how much of anything can we even produce. We didn't even, the default assumption is if you could make it, you'd be able to sell it, right? So it was only a matter, the only bottleneck was how fast can you make something? And the economy could grow based on how quickly we could make things. So that was the industrial age. But the times that we live in right now, it's not about manufacturing supply. There are plenty of companies that could manufacture more supply, but they just don't have the demand. And the companies that do really well today are not the ones that focus on how do they manufacture supply. They're the ones that focus on how they manufacture demand. You may have heard of things like email sequences, or click funnels, or growth hacking. Those are all strategies for manufacturing demand. It's the process of figuring out how to get people to engage so that they eventually become aware of who you are and what it is that you do and why they should work with you. And it's that entire front end process. Now think about the production line here. The production line was the reason that Henry Ford was so smart at building cars is he made the production line really short, and he made each little step fast. Boom, 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 boom. And then the car gets produced. The best businesses are the ones that make a production line of demand manufacturing, and it's fast, it's short, it goes from unaware to aware. It allows people to very quickly go from understanding their problem to understanding the solution and understanding your business really rapidly. So here's what we learned about scorecards. Scorecards are really good at this. They're really good at manufacturing demand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're good at doing it fast. They make sure that you can go from someone taking a scorecard to wanting to work with you really, really rapidly. So it's a very short production line for demand generation. The final thing we've learned is that people absolutely love, and I mean love, 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 emotionally, they love it, the idea of scoring and improving stuff. So as soon as you add a scoreboard to anything, people cannot help but engage. So can you imagine how quickly nobody would watch football if there was no scoreboard? It's just not fun to watch something that doesn't have a way of scoring and improving. As soon as you go and put a height chart around kids, they all automatically go and stand next to the height chart. They measure where they are. They stand back. They have a look at how tall they are now and how tall they want to be soon. They want to get their parents to stand next to it so they can see the difference between themselves and their parents, right? So there's something very innate about this idea that we want to measure ourselves and improve ourselves, and we want to sort of have a way of measuring growth and improvement. Little kids, my little kids, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and 8-year-old, my goodness, they just love seeing themselves grow 1 centimeter at a time and seeing where they were a few months ago and then how the fact that they've gone up a little bit. And it's actually the same as adults. Adults love to do this as well. So we love to go to the gym and see that we can lift heavier weights. We love to play golf and see that we get around the golf course in less hits. We love to have an Apple Watch and be able to go walking every day and see if we can get our step count up throughout the day. So we're all about measuring and improving things. People just love doing this. So here's the question I've got for you. What do your customers want to measure, or what should they measure? And then here's the amazing thing. Where are they now, and where could they be if they worked with you in 3 months? Now, here's something that's kind of mind-blowing. If you want to make lots and lots of sales, if you can answer these 3 questions with a customer, what's the most important thing to measure? Where are you now, and where could you be in the next 3 to 6 months? Right? Those 3 questions, if the customer buys into that, they are super pumped to get started. So what's the most important thing to measure? Where are they today? Where could they be 3 months from now if they worked on it? If they work with you, especially. Scorecards give people a way to score and improve. It's really radically cool how people immediately get it, they get engaged with it, and they want to improve. Okay, so how do we do it? So there's going to be 4 things that we need to put in place in order to do this. We're going to have a landing page that tells people what are they scoring, a questionnaire to ask them some questions, dynamic results to give people a dynamic result of how they scored and how they can improve. And then we're going to have to promote the scorecard so people know about it and they want to take it. So I'm going to go through those 4. Before I go through these 4, let's just quickly check in. Any questions or comments about the principle of scorecards and like just understanding high level, like the big picture of scorecards? Anyone want to ask a question? Feel free to unmute or put it in the chat if you want to. We can... all good. Give me a thumbs up if you totally get it and you're ready to go ahead. Fantastic. Looks like most people there. Okay. All right. So next phase is, I got a little hand in there. 1 second. Natalie, did you have a question, or was that just a wave as in like, let's get going?
It was my thumbs up.
That was your thumbs up. All right, no worries. It was a very royal thumbs up like this. All right, I like it. Okay, so let's get into.
Hey Dan, David's just asked if you could just repeat the 4 stages quickly.
Yeah, let's go into the 4 stages. So 4 keys for high-performing scorecards. These are the 4 things we have to get right, and I'm going to go through them. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to panic and write this all down. If you decide that you want to go ahead and use this, we've actually got a little learning portal with short, sharp videos on this. We've got a PDF setup guide. We've got people who can help you. We've got a community of people who can help you. We've got videos on YouTube. We've got a book. right? Lots and lots of stuff. We've got all of this. This is just for you to get a top line orientation to how to do this. I don't, there's not going to be an exam at the end. Okay, so step number one is you need to have a landing page. So a landing page is essentially a page that allows people to understand what is it that they're going to be scoring. So when you use the software that we use with the templates, you literally just pick a landing page that looks nice and looks similar to your business, and you just like the aesthetic of it. And there's lots of templates to choose from. They've all got content in there. They're fully editable. So whatever it says, this one says discover your well-being performance score. You could make that discover your workplace performance score, discover your health and fitness score, discover your company alignment score, right? So you can edit that text however you want. You can change those images, just literally select the image and put a different image in there. Super simple. So it's a great, easy starting point. Now, what do you want to do? First thing you want to think about when it comes to the landing page is what's the hook? Why do people want to work with you? So the first thing that gives people the hook is what is the desired outcome your customer has, right? So you really want to lead with that. So for example, your customer wants to be something, have something, or experience something, and you just want to turn that into the scorecard. So you want to name the scorecard after whatever it is that they have as a desired outcome. So, for example, I really want to be ready to pitch some investors. Okay, let's have the pitch ready scorecard. So this is a landing page. Would an investor give you their money right now? The challenge most entrepreneurs face when trying to raise money is that they don't know what investors are looking for. Even when they do, they often struggle to communicate their value in a way that investors understand. Find out in less than 5 minutes if your business would catch an investor's interest and money. Our free pitch ready scorecard is a proven way to work. It's 100% tailored to your business, completely free, proven to work time again. Results and report are 100% tailored to you. Take the test. So that there is a really nice, clean landing page that tells people why they should take that scorecard. Someone might say, I really want to have business growth. Fantastic, the business growth scorecard. Your report shows you exactly where your greatest strengths and weaknesses and opportunities are, how to stack up against the competition, your greatest opportunities, what competitors are doing. Start, let's go, right? So that is the business growth scorecard. This one here is, I really want to experience financial clarity. Fantastic. The financial clarity scorecard. Do you know where your money's taking you? Discover your financial clarity score to see how prepared you are when it comes to your personal finances and long-term security. Right, so that's a nice little landing page there. If you want to do a fast scorecard, I recommend something that is the Are You Ready to Start scorecard. So imagine this. Are you ready to run a marathon? Take the scorecard. Are you ready to increase your prices? Take the scorecard. Are you ready to sell your home? Are you ready to win an award in your industry? Right, so these are all the ones that are you ready to? Are you ready to have success with MS? Discover where you are with the 5 key health pillars to have success with MS in under 3 minutes, right? So that's a nice one. So you can call it a scorecard, a quiz, an assessment, a test, a score, an indicator, exactly, all of those things. So quick question, what do you think would attract your ideal client? What scorecard would they probably want to take? Have a think about that. Let's get some ideas in the chat. What would you call your scorecard? What might you name it? So Gillian would do the quick one. Are you ready to start blank? Are you ready to blank? David, I saw that you just added your audio. Do you have a question? Billa has said, are you ready to launch your health tech startup, right? Are you ready to launch? I love that, right? Fantastic. The job search readiness scorecard. Are you ready to ask for a raise? Are you ready to change career? Are you ready to change jobs? Are you ready to move into a senior role? Would be the fast, quick ones, Sam. Okay, very good. David, I can't see you coming off audio, so that's fine. We'll just keep moving on. Are you ready to ace your online presence? Right? Are you ready to improve your online presence? Are you ready to boost your sales? Right. So anything like, are you ready to improve your blank would work really nicely as well. David, I've now got you on audio. Go for it. Yep.
Excellent. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Vevers. I run a business called Mind Mentors. It's a positive psychology coaching and mentoring company based in Lancashire in the UK. Been doing that for about 20 years. I'm very keen to learn how we can attract more clients and add more value by this particular way of doing things. I'm very interested indeed. It looks tremendous. Great reports, but obviously ignorant at this moment in time. I'm looking forward to learning more.
Okay, great. Thanks, David. Okay, so I think a lot of people have given some great examples there. Just letting you know, when you use the software, it's very, very easy for you to just simply choose a template and basically start writing that content. You'll just, if you can edit a document, you can edit one of these templates. Okay, next one is, so part one is the landing page. The landing page only has one job, and the job of the landing page is very simple: to get people to click the button that says take the scorecard or answer the questions or start the quiz, basically to engage with the questionnaire. So think about it as simple as that. All of the content on the landing page points towards one call to action, which is to start answering the questions, to answer the quiz. So the next part is to come up with a questionnaire. And this is actually not as hard as you would think. So some people really worry about this questionnaire piece, but it's kind of a little bit just like a checklist, right? It's a checklist for achieving a goal. So if we think about what is it that we want to do, right? For my personal one, I wanted people to become more influential, to become a key person of influence. So these are some of the questions that we would say. Do you give talks, trainings, presentations, and speeches? You can imagine on a checklist, if you want to become more influential, you should give talks, trainings, presentations. So all I've done is I've just added the words do you. Do you give talks, trainings, presentations? If somebody Googled your name, would they find most of page one is positive links featuring you? So we know that if you're going to be more influential, you need to show up when somebody Googles your name. So I've just turned that into a little question. Are you featured in the media more than a few times a year? Right. So these are just simple yes or no questions. So when it comes to writing a questionnaire, you may wonder how many questions should you come up with for people to answer? And it's pretty simple. There's three ways that you can approach this. Number one, if you want more leads, just very basic cold leads or leads, qualified leads, then a short quiz. Are you ready to improve? Are you ready to start? Are you ready to go for it? This is a 7 to 12 questions. That's all you need to do. If you want better conversions, as in you've already got lots of leads, you've got 15,000 people on your social media following, but you need more people buying from you, I recommend 20 to 50 questions, really drilling into people, drilling into what people want to improve. This is based on the idea that they already know who you are. They already have a bit of an idea. They've maybe listened to your podcast or they've been following you on social media. 20 to 50 questions is great. And then finally, if you sign people up that you want to have a really happy client, you can do like an MOT, a full assessment on day one of them working with you, and then do a full assessment 3 months later or 6 months later. So imagine you sign up a client and they want to work with you. Like Dave mentioned, positive psychology. So imagine they take the positive psychology scorecard on day one. They've paid their money. They answer 50 questions, and then they work with David for 3 months or 6 months. They answer the questions again, the same questions, and this time they can see that they've improved. They've gone from a 23% to a 63%, so they can actually quantify how much improvement they've got. So you might have questions like, do you have a positive daily routine? Do you have a conflict resolution strategy, right? So you can have all of those questions, and as people improve, they can go from saying no to saying yes. So quick question, do you want more leads, better conversion, or more happy clients? If you were to create one scorecard to begin with, where would you start? Leads, conversions, or client scorecard? Let me know in the chat. Great, lots of leads. So all of you saying leads. I want you to just start with a very short scorecard, 7 to 12 questions, really super simple. Don't overthink it. Please don't try and create an all singing, all dancing scorecard. Just do 7 to 12 questions. Keep it short and simple. That's going to be the best way forward. Whereas for Sharon, who wants to go for happy clients, go all in, go 50 to 100 questions so you can really drill into the areas that you want to work with your clients. Every single one of the templates comes with a set of questions preloaded. Normally, they've got about 12 to 20 questions. So you can just go in there and edit those questions. There's also a point scoring system. So every question you can allocate points. So for example, if I ask you the question, have you written a blog? I might give that 1 point if you said yes. But if I ask the question, have you written a book? I might give that 5 points if you say yes, because it's so much more than a blog. So you can, it's called weighting the answers. You can actually create a weighted answer just by allocating points to the yeses or the nos. With the point scoring, you can also make sure that the no is the good one if you want. You can take points away if they say yes and add points if they say no. So for example, you might ask the question, do you have really bad habits that are letting you down? No. Okay, great. Fantastic. You can have some points for that. Okay, when people have answered all the questions, they then get to see their results. So this is the dynamic results. This is the big reveal. So the magic of scorecards is that they get to see what it looks like on the other side. So they've answered, let's say they've answered 20 questions, and it says, okay, the results are in. You've got green for this one, yellow for this one, and red for this one. Overall scores 54%. So people can go, oh, wow, okay, that's how I scored. And then we can have special content that appears. It's called dynamic content that appears based on how people answered the questions. Once again, it's really quite easy to do this. You're going to just set up some score tiers, low, medium, and high, and then you're going to create some content that goes in for low, medium, and high. So if someone scores low, you might say, it looks like you've got some real work to do. Here's 3 tips for getting started. If someone says medium, you've got strong foundations, but here's how to improve. And high, congratulations, well done. You're strong in the area, but let's keep up the good work. So you can actually just create different content based on how people score. So let me show you a quick example. This is a fun one that the team created for one of the dragons on Dragon's Den. He's got a book called Happy Sexy Millionaire. What a great title that is. So we created the Happy Sexy Millionaire scorecard for him. And it says, dreaming of becoming a happy, sexy millionaire, take the quiz and see if you're ready to be one. So people go through and it says, we're going to measure you on your happiness, sexiness, and millionaireness. So we've got lots of little questions. I think we came up with about 15 different questions. And then at the end, it gives you an overall score. And then it gives you a score as to how happy you seem, how sexy you seem, and how millionaire you seem. And then it gives you a recommendation. What next? Go and get the book. So that's an example of how it all looks at the end. Next step, some of the best performing next steps is either a book, a workshop, or a one-to-one call. So a lot of the time, it's really great to say, based on how you answered, why don't you have a chat with us? Or based on how you answered, we would like to give you a ticket to our upcoming workshop. Or based on how you answered, we recommend buying a copy of this book, or reading this blog, or listening to this podcast. So you want to have some next steps for people. Once people start filling in the scorecards, you're going to actually have a dashboard for every single person who fills in your scorecard. So you'll see a long list of leads, and you'll be able to click on each lead and be able to see how they answered the questions, and you'll have all that information there. You'll also be able to see the aggregate data as to how people answer in general. So once you've got 100 people, it's going to tell you what percentage of people answered yes or no to each question, which helps you to build a better business. Okay, the final part is just getting people to take the scorecard. So we call that promotion. Before I go into promotion, any questions? We talked about landing page, questionnaire, and results. Any questions on that? Anyone want to ask me anything before we move on? Go for it, David. David, just come off mute. David, just come off mute.
When you're asking these questions, Danielle, are you asking away motivated questions predominantly or towards motivation
It
questions?
doesn't matter because you can score yes or no, however many points you want. I love mixing it up. Personally, I love to mix it up. So if I was doing the happiness score, I might ask things like, do you regularly check in for what you feel grateful for? You know, do you have a gratitude routine or a gratitude journal? And that's a towards question, right? And then I might say, do you sometimes dwell on negative things more than what feels healthy? So that would be right. Now, the yes gets a point and the no gets a point in the second question.
Yeah.
So I can ask similar questions in the affirmative or in the negative, and I just get to choose how I want the yes to be scored or how I want the no to be scored. And the best practice, the absolute best one, is to mix it up. Okay, any other questions? Great question, by the way, David. Thank you. Okay, so final piece of the puzzle is promotion, and we're almost completed this workshop, by the way. So to promote, we actually have a document called 29 Ways to Launch Your Quiz. We have lots and lots of, we have an active checklist where you can go through and do everything. There's emailing, there's social media, there's all sorts of different ways. On top of that, we've gone and written, I think, maybe 50 or 60 blogs getting into all the specific ways to do it. So like 11 ways to promote on your website, how to use search engine optimization, how to convert quiz leads into sales. We've got some scripts that we've written. I've also put together this book here called Scorecard Marketing. And in the book, we go through the 7 major ways to get people to take your scorecard. So there's things like websites, email, social media profiles, podcasts, blogs, posts, event workshops, advertising, joint ventures, enriching and segmenting your data. So it's all in there. And we've got lots and lots of ways to promote. The first step is get your scorecard set up and then go through the checklist and promote it. Now, here's a fun example. This is a website which is a dating website. It's for people who want to have a dating agency find the dates for them. And they're called Elite Dating. And basically what they did is they had lots of content. People would search things in Google. And then after searching in Google, they'd end up on this website. And they were getting something like 80,000 views per month to the website, lots and lots of views, but no one was actually revealing themselves. So they would just be anonymous viewers of the website. So then they put on this on the website, are you elite material? Take the free test now. There's a little pop-up there that says, find out how eligible you are in 5 minutes. I think this guy has no doubt whatsoever that he's eligible. Look at the body language on him. He does not need to be taking this scorecard. He knows that he's Mr. Eligible, right? Anyway, perfect photo. But what started happening is as soon as they plugged this onto their website, they started getting between 50 and 80 leads per, I think it's per week or per day. Oh no, daily leads. So daily leads, 50, 80, right? Going right through an average of between sort of 50 and 80 people per day, filling in the scorecard. Quite amazing, just a constant stream of leads. What do you think that did to their business, right? You can imagine what would happen to your business if you got 50 to 80 leads per day when you used to just have viewers to your website. Now you've got warm leads, qualified leads. We see a lot of people doing advertising. So here's somebody who's doing an advertising to discover your startup success score. Here's another one that I just saw on my Facebook. Keen Partners is a consulting firm. Take the 5-minute R&D tax credit eligibility score. Here's one that I saw on my Facebook. Is your brand irresistible? Get your free tailored report for your brand. Now, the beauty is rather than normal leads, which are name, email, and location, you're going to have name, email, location, likes, dislikes, desires, frustrations, buying criteria, motivations. You're going to get all of that information. This one is a really interesting one. This is a cabin in the woods company. In Canada, they call these bunkies. Bunkies are when you buy a little piece of land in the forest and you actually can set up your own cabin in the woods on that land. And they ran this scorecard called Are You Ready for the Bunkie Life? Take the quiz to find out your Bunkie score. And they doubled their revenue from 3.5 million to 7 million. And over 90% of the growth was scorecard marketing, scorecards, people filling the scorecard. And it really gave people a light bulb moment as to whether they should buy one of these bunkies. So getting started, super simple. We would like you to do a free 30-day trial. In the 30 days, you select yourself a template and you do a bit of customization with your template. We want to send you out the book, Scorecard Marketing, so you've got that to help you and support you. We want to basically get you all nicely set up so that you've got a ready-made marketing funnel that's ready to go, steady stream of qualified leads, and lots of data about your prospects. We've got some prizes for you as well. So we've got things like the Key Person of Influence and the 24 Assets book. We've got some workshops that you can do. And we've got a Set Up and Score live workshop with one of our team members, Lee. So she's going to actually walk you through the whole process of Set Up and Score. Next year, I'm running a sales training day, which is a half-day training. People have been paying £279 a ticket. We're going to give everyone a free ticket if they just go through and actually do their full 30-day trial and generate some leads. So provided you get set up and generate leads, you can come along to that. You can join our community so that you can test within the community. You get lots and lots of free videos and content. So when you do the free 30-day trial, that's your setup period to test. At the end of 30 days, there's no contracts, but at the end of 30 days, if it's working, you'll pay £29 a month, or if you're a bigger business, you'll pay £89 a month. So £29 a month gives you 100 warm leads per month. £89 a month goes right up to 1,000 responses per month. And there's a few extra things like PDFs and all that sort of stuff in there. But the good news is if you're a small business, this will cost you a few £100 per year to generate over 1,000 leads. If you're a bigger business, it'll cost you less than £1,000 a year to generate over 10,000 leads. So you've got lots of room to make huge amounts of profit there. And you're part of our community. All the updates are included. Everything just works. It costs you nothing to test this out. If it works, you've got yourself a powerful lead generation magnet. If you hit your 30 leads, you'll unlock all of our bonuses, like my sales workshop, and you can switch it off at any time. There's no contracts required. So pretty amazing. I'm going to get Rebecca to share the link for you to get the 30-day free trial. The link is available today, right? So that gives you access to the full range of bonuses and benefits. So that will be posted in the chat. Rebecca, have you got that link? There we go. Rebecca's just posted the link there. So you've got a special link there. It says 3030 XWPVUJ. That allows our system to unlock the full range of bonuses. So that's what you want to sign up using there. If you've signed up in the last few days and you're on this workshop, let us know, and we will make sure you're included in all the bonuses as well. So we'll make sure that you get that as well, that you're not disadvantaged. We'll get you your free full 30-day trial as well.
And Dan, just to let everyone know that the Set Up and Score event is actually on the 1st of November. So next week it's coming up.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So get set up as best you can, choose your template, have a go between now and next week, and you'll be able to use that Set Up and, that Set Up and Score workshop to fine tune and improve. So yeah, final thought before we do questions is I just want to say leads change lives. It sounds really pithy, it sounds cheesy, but I cannot tell you how many times I've seen a business that's struggling along, and if you can crack the lead generation, that business becomes a joy. It becomes an absolute joy. So if you get a business that's struggling to get enough leads, and then suddenly it's got 10 to 100 leads a month coming through, and they're warm leads and qualified leads, that business owner is going to have a way better life in the year ahead. They're going to be able to be more comfortable with their income. They're going to sleep better at night. They're going to build up a waiting list. They're going to have better clients, right? So the right leads, if you can just figure out that lead generation step, you've got yourself a much better business in the year ahead.
Yeah.
So Natalie's asked a great question. Do we have a affiliate program? We do. And about 20% of the income that comes in goes back to our affiliate. You automatically get an affiliate code when you're a customer. So if you want to recommend this to your friends or recommend it on your social media, if you were to get 5 people who want to use Scorecard as well, set a Score app, then essentially your commissions would outpace your whatever you're paying for ScoreApp. So we actually have quite a few people who they sign themselves up for ScoreApp, they pay £29 a month, but they earn £500 a month because they promoted ScoreApp on their LinkedIn or they promoted ScoreApp on their email list as well. So we got plenty of people who are earning 10 times more from our referral because it's an early, it's very early days. We've only got 2,500 customers. There's 6 million businesses in the UK, 30 million businesses in the USA. So there's plenty of room for this to become more widely known. Okay, any questions? Let's jump in. If you've got to head off, I totally understand. That's fine. You can head on off. Make sure you grab that link so that you can set up your free account. Susan, we see that you joined 2 days ago. I hope you're going well with it. We'll make sure that we get you looked after. Okay, any questions?
Daniel, will there be any support in this trial period as we start to make the mistakes going forward and we need to learn by that? Anybody we can contact to make sure that we get the right sort of guidance?
Yeah, so on the software, there is a little help button and you can always get support. It might take us a few hours to get back to you, but you've basically got support. Let me just show you what the software actually looks like. So you'll basically log in. You'll have your dashboard there. So this is my dashboard this is all of my scorecard campaigns that are running at the moment. And this particular one, you can see we ran a campaign on this day and got 264 people did that one. And then after the campaign was run, you've got the help center. So you can go in there. There's help. There's all those help topics. You've got the contact us. All right. So when you hit that contact us, it just basically says, how can we help? You've got the community where you get taken through to the Facebook community. You can post a question in here and we always man that. We love questions that lots of people can relate to. Also, it's a good opportunity for you to test your scorecards. So you can see Chris here, please help. This is a battle of 2 scorecards. Which one do you prefer? So he's created the book ready and the happy author. So people are asking for feedback and all of that sort of stuff. You've got the courses. So we actually have a set of courses that you can take if you want to, right? So all of that's in there. So it's pretty simple. Once you're in here, you just click the build button and there's your questions. Any of those questions, you just edit the questions. You can see I've got my point system there. I've got my question, right? My landing page. So those are my alternative landing pages where I'm testing A versus B. My results page. So that's what people see when they've taken the scorecard. That's their results. I can easily edit that text. All right, I put a video in there. I can add a section if I want to add a section. So I can add some data, I can add the categories. I can go in there and do some little banners. I could do a testimonial, right? So I could just put that in there and put someone's photo in there. So all very simple. I can conduct experiments to see A versus B optimization. I can build out some audiences using my data and actually have special ways of segmenting my data. I can change the settings. So I can change the name of the scorecard, the URL that it appears on. I can change the branding. And I can change how it looks when it's shared on social media. I can integrate it with an existing CRM. I've got this synced up with customer.io. And then if I want to start a new scorecard, I just push new and I just select a template. There's all my templates just there. All right, so I can go in and create some templates and say, oh, I like the look of that one. Here's what it's got. It's got 3 categories. It's got some dynamic results all built in. It's got 10 questions. Nice, really simple. I can search some topics. Right, so super easy, super simple to set this all up. If I want to look at my leads, I can have a look at my leads and see them all coming in here. And I can also have a look at my insights and have a look at how people answer these questions. So I can see that, you know, most people say yes to this one. Most people say yes over here, but 37% said no, right? So it's very easy for me to kind of have a look at my data in there. Very good. Okay, so there you go. You've had an introduction to ScoreApp. I would love to see how you go. I hope to see you in the workshops and in the Facebook community. Please let me know how you get on. I know this could be a game changer for most of your businesses. It's been a game changer for a lot of our clients. They've become raving fans of this strategy. Thank you so much for coming and joining our workshop.